Pittsburgh. You're watching college basketball on the ACC Network. And tonight, out of the Southwestern Athletic Conference, Arkansas Pine Bluff visits the Peterson Event Center to take on the Pittsburgh Panthers. The Golden Lions winless so far on the year. Panthers have had their own struggles, but they come into tonight with a 3-2 record. Welcome to the table, Kevin Wheeler and Julius Page inside the Pete. Julius, we talked about the win on Monday against Monmouth, right? The first half, struggles for the Panthers. Second half, a much different story.
Well, yeah, carried over from the West Virginia game. Second half of the West Virginia game, Pitt was cold, but Xavier Johnson got it going. Last game in the second half, just having fun playing his game, attacking the basket, and what else can you say?
It was one of the worst halves offensively for the Panthers in program history. See, only 19% from the field in that game on Monday against Monmouth, but they caught fire in the second half, and it was largely thanks to this guy right here, Xavier Johnson, the sophomore point guard. 13 points in the second half on Monday against Monmouth. You see the previous 3 games, 21 total points. So, Julius, as the Panthers go, Xavier Johnson goes.
Yeah, if he can stay out of foul trouble and keep his rhythm, he's a guy that can create for himself and others off the dribble. If he's knocking down his three-point shot, though, it's going to be a long night for you defensively.
See the Panthers starting lineup. Johnson out there, McGowan, Champagnie, Terrell Brown, and Ryan Murphy. And I know there's a guy in that starting lineup in Justin Champagnie that you like a lot, Julius.
I love Champagnie. He's a freshman. He's a guy who can shoot the ball. He always finds a way to make things happen even when a play isn't called for him. So I really love his energy around the basket.
That's a heck of a start right there for the Panthers. An alley-oop slam for Terrell Brown. Had a little assist from the rim, but he gets fouled as well, so he'll go to the line for another one.
I'm sure that was done by design. Get your big fella involved early. Some great coaching by Jeff Capel.
That's called setting the tone right out of the gate. You see the Panthers now trying to set the tone defensively with some full court pressure.
You got to punch these teams in the face first. You know, the last time we had an opponent come into this building, Nicholls State, they upset the Panthers. So I'm sure, you know, they remember that when they come out and hit Arkansas first.
Tipped around and ends up in the hands of Champagnie defensively. Now Ryan Murphy pushing for Pittsburgh. And we'll see a lot of this all night long. You see this extended 1-3-1, kind of 2-3 zone look for Arkansas Pine Bluff. We'll see that all night. And that was one of the things that Jeff Capel told us he was a little nervous about heading into this game.
What it does is exactly what you saw from McGowan's and make you settle for a lot of outside shots and stand around instead of penetrating. You have to penetrate the pass against these zones. They have a guy who can shoot the ball in Murphy. Maybe we'll see him run the baseline a little bit from corner to corner. Change it up.
The man with the ball for the Golden Lions right now, Daquan Morris, was one of the guys that was spotlighted by Jeff Capel in shoot-around today. Heck of an athlete. We'll see how he progresses through this game with the Panthers. Xavier Johnson thought about it. Ryan Murphy wants all 3 of them, doesn't get them. It's the top of the backboard. It'll be Pine Bluff basketball.
He didn't think about it. Let it go right away.
Well, you know how shooters are.
Hey.
The moment they get some daylight, it's got to go up.
Shoot or shoot.
Carrying the ball up the floor for the Golden Lions, Jamil Wilson. The rest of the starters for Pine Bluff, Markel Carter, Marquedrick Bell, Daquan Morris, and Chris Smith, who's wearing number 50 tonight. Usually number 34 had a jersey change before the game. Rebound down to the Panthers. Ryan Murphy wants a 3 again. This time misses. This one thrown into the backcourt. Saved nicely by Johnson. Panthers with under 15 on the clock. A nice dish underneath. Champagnie doesn't get the roll, but he will head to the charity stripe.
Always around that basket.
There is Jeff Capel. Second season with the Panthers. You see a ton of career wins. VCU, Oklahoma, now the Panthers. Spent a bunch of years with Duke as an assistant. He's known as a recruiter.
I would say you got a guy by the name of Blake Griffin at Oklahoma. I would say that was a pretty good recruit for him.
This guy at the line is somebody he's been excited about in Champagnie. And he actually told us that even though Champagnie has actually played pretty well as a freshman for this team, he wants to see more out of Justin.
Well, he can play. The expectations is high. He must be doing something right in practice. You got to love it as an incoming freshman, though. Get time right away.
That's been the story for this Panther team for 2 years in a row now. Young guys expected to immediately add some scoring and some offensive production for this team. See a traveling violation on the way down as Chris Smith tried to pull the rebound, but he fell, lost his footing.
I would like to see Murphy move around. He's just standing on that one side. Not much action. Relocate, cutting through.
What a leaping catch there for Morris. Loose ball comes up with Johnson, but there was the athleticism of Morris. You saw it sky for that basketball. Now Champagny misses, tapped around underneath. Still loose. Hot potato. And ends up in the hands of Smith. That Panther offense looking a little stagnant, not a ton of movement on the offensive end. Defensively, Panthers in their usual man.
It's the zone. Pine Bluff playing that zone, make you stand around. They like to match up a little bit in it, so it takes you out of your rhythm.
End of the shot clock. Offensive rebound in the first points for Pine Bluff. It's Marquedrick Bell with the deuce underneath. Johnson pulls it out smartly, waits for his offense to get there.
Before then, he pushed it. I think that's the best way to beat the zone is in transition. Don't let him set up. I mean, he has the athletes around him.
Into the middle, Brown tries a 10-footer. Back iron, no good. And we're seeing exactly what Jeff Capel was a little worried about, is all the offensive players kind of standing straight up, not a lot of dribble penetration. Everybody just kind of looking around with the ball above their heads.
Not only that, but no cutting through. You don't see any movement.
5-2 in the early going for the Panthers with the lead at the Pitt.
Hey, need a laptop that boots up as fast as 6 seconds when you're running late? It's switching time. Or how about a battery that lasts up to 12 hours? Order up. Now we're cooking. Or how about one with virus protection built in, which would be helpful right about now. Yeah, if you want all that, switch to Chromebook.
I saw some of it in the second half, the confidence and things like that. But like I told him, it's not going to happen overnight. It's not. You know, you have to build that back. You know, he has to get back into being that hungry dude from Northern Virginia that no one really knew about and that came here with something to prove. He's got to get back, you know, to being that. And we have to be that as a group.
And you heard it right there from Jeff Capel's mouth. It's been a struggle for Xavier Johnson in the early going this season, dealing with a lot of different expectations as a player. And he said it right there. You go from being a guy, Julius, that nobody really knows about, and all of a sudden you're on, you know, top second-round draft pick boards leading into this year. What do you think Xavier Johnson needs to do differently in the early season here to get his confidence back?
Just having fun and letting the game come to him. I think, you know, in the city of Pittsburgh and nationally, he's been getting a lot of recognition, so he's trying to prove that he deserves it. Might be a little pressed. Just relax, play basketball. He's been playing it all his life.
That second half against Monmouth, he really looked like himself, looked like he had his swagger back a little bit. 13 of his 15 on Monday coming in the second half. Last year, first Pitt player ever named to an All-ACC freshman team. So the promise is there, just has to put it out there on the floor and execute. 7-2 lead for Pitt. The turnaround jumper, no good. Panthers packing it in defensively, looking good so far. And a foul far away from the basket committed by Jordan McNair.
You just got to accept that pressure anyway, because, you know, on the next level, you're going to run into the likes of a Russell Westbrook, James Harden. Come on, it doesn't get any easier.
Here is George Ivory, 12th season as the Pine Bluff head coach, 13-19 last year. Was an assistant from 2002 to 2006. Fun guy to talk to, Julius. He remembered you, actually.
I know. It makes me feel old. Way back when he was his assistant. Jeez.
He actually compared one of his guys, DeQuan Morris, to you. And his athletic ability is...
Well, let's see. Let's see. Don't disappoint.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we already saw a great athletic catch by Morris in transition. He's not on the floor at the moment. Rebound down to Murphy. Marcus Wallace with the miss. A couple of subs on for Pine Bluff. It's Eric Hamilton. Guy was highly touted as a grad transfer. That one batted around. Now coming back in transition are the Golden Lions.
Got to change ends a little faster. For Hamilton, he'll see the floor a lot more if he get up and down.
The miss by McNair. A good dish to Champagny. Goes underneath and makes it go down. Nice dish from Xavier Johnson in transition.
I would like to see the Panthers pick the tempo up. Get after him.
Well, you said it before. The way you beat a zone, just beat them down the floor. And you know the Panthers have the speed to do that. Especially with a guy with a first step like Xavier Johnson. Can blow past anybody in Division I. Turnaround jumper rolls out. The battle for it. Pops out into the hands of Murphy. He's looking for teammates. Over to Johnson. Murphy, a deep one from the tee in the logo. Eric Hamilton battling and a good finish. Eric Hamilton looking very active off the bench so far.
That's where the advantage is between him and Brown. If you're going to stand around, throw it into one of those guys and watch them go to work. Don't do it on the perimeter.
Hamilton's a guy that was expected to be a big contributor in the front court for Jeff Capel and the Panthers this year. He's also had his struggles in the early going, trying to find his way on this roster within the run of play. Underneath defensively now has Smith. Smith gets his own rebound, goes back up, no foul, and here come the Panthers the other way. Nice straight up defense underneath.
Transition you expect to take time. You have a guy like Johnson, McGowan's, Tony, who's been here a year, comfortable already.
It's a nice try underneath by Xavier Johnson, got tipped away, but Champagny, a nice job cleaning it up. A 11-point lead for the Panthers. It's going to force a timeout by George Ivory and the Golden Lions. The Panthers pouring it on in the last couple of minutes with an 11-point lead heading to break.
The holidays are here, and we want to keep you connected to those you love with the new iPhone 11. Hurry into T-Mobile today to get up to 4 iPhone 11s on us. Only at T-Mobile.
Back with you at the Peterson Event Center. 13-2 advantage for the Pitt Panthers, the home team tonight. Arkansas Pine Bluff on the road yet again. You see, this is their upcoming home schedule, Julius. You notice there, November 25th against Champion Christian. They don't play at home again until January 18th. 16 of the first 19 games for this team played on the road. I know that was something that blew your mind earlier.
Absolutely, because, you know, the traveling, staying in the hotels, the flights, it just wears on your body. It wears on you mentally. So I give them a lot of props to be able to fight through that. It should build a lot of character once they start conference play.
It'd be tough. They've had 3 games in 6 days coming into today. They were tied at halftime against Kansas State on Monday in what was looking like a potential upset special. Now they're down 11 quickly to the Panthers. On the road yet again. 11 of their 12 non-conference games in total on the road.
And they're shorthanded.
And they're shorthanded, as we haven't talked about quite yet. But 2 of their best players on this team, 2 returning starters from last year, out for this game. Sean Doss, number 21, not with the team tonight, and neither is Terrence Banyard. 2 guys that were on the team last year, juniors, leading scorers coming into the year, and they're out tonight. They were out against Kansas State, so shorthanded, road weary. George Ivory has his hands full so far.
Coach looking at the bright side of things. Without these 2 gentlemen, some guys who don't have the experience get some valuable minutes against a quality opponent in Pitt. So it's not all the way a bad thing.
George Ivory was excited about a couple of guys that he spotlighted for us that he thought might be good contributors tonight. Daquan Morris, 23. We talked about him already. Underneath, rattling around. Somebody had a hand on the basket there. Now it's going to be a foul in the backcourt. Isaac Bassey.
That was a grown man rebound right there. You got to go up and get that thing with 2 hands in traffic. They pay people a lot of money to go up there and grab them with 2 hands.
Justin Champagnie making an impact. Panthers still trying to navigate their way through this Pine Bluff zone. It's 11-point. Sorry, Julius. It's 11-point lead, but honestly, they haven't gotten a ton of shots to fall from the perimeter so far. Of course, as soon as I say that, yeah.
Keep talking about it.
Yeah.
They might fall.
Johnson, after hitting the 3, tries to force a turnover. Can't quite do it.
Well, yeah, that was in rhythm. He's passed them up before. Murphy took a few, but, you know, it's only a matter of time before he gets it going.
Panthers on an 11-0 run over the last 5.5 minutes. Johnson 1 of 2 from the field so far, both of them 3-pointers. Arkansas Pine Bluff 1 of 13 so far tonight. Bassey underneath, has some size, trying to get some space. He gets fouled on the way up.
That's a way to end the cold streak, get to the foul line, get some easy ones.
Bassey at 6'11", fighting down low for George Ivory and the Golden Lions. Down 14, 10 minutes going in the first half.
Got to give credit to the big fellas. They have a tough job. I didn't appreciate it as a player, but they have to hedge, they have to rebound, they have to help when us little guys get beat off the dribble. Come on. Big 6'11" is hard. Come on. How many 6'11" guys, you know, can get up and down this floor with these little 6'3" guys?
Well, it's not as easy for those guys to get out to the top of the key and hedge as it might be for somebody like you. Champagnie kicking himself there. There's 2 members of the Panthers front court. We talked to Jeff Capel about the front court too, Julius, earlier. And he said that he needs a lot more from them, obviously. And he said if they do a few things correctly and not worry about scoring, then that's when he's going to be happy with them. What are those few things? The things that nobody really wants to think about. It's defense, rebounding, and screening. And if they can do those 3 things well, then this Panthers team is going to be in good shape.
Yeah, it's only the things that Dennis Rodman got himself into the Hall of Fame for doing. So it's not that you don't recognize them. It's just that it's not flashy. It's nothing that we really talk about. But in regards to winning, you got to have them. You got to have guys willing to do the dirty work.
And you mentioned it. I mean, it's a grueling task down there. And to have to also worry about getting up top into the pick and roll, make sure you're defending it well, hedging out, as you said. It's a tough job as a front court member. Checking out is another member of that front court that has contributed a lot recently, especially in that West Virginia game. As Abdul Karim Coulibaly heads to the bench now, the freshman for the Panthers. He's another guy that is going to have to contribute on the front line.
Oh, yeah. Against West Virginia, all bodies had to be on deck. They were huge.
He played really well in the absence of Terrell Brown, who had some trouble with the Mountaineers here at the Peterson Event Center. That one off the side of the backboard for Champagnie. And here comes McNair the other way. Morris, a jump stop in the lane. That was a nice smooth jumper, just didn't get it to fall. You mentioned the big guys. Imagine being Jordan McNair at 5'8", running up the court like that. Trying to ignite the break.
Use that speed. You got to use that speed against the trees.
It's the center of gravity, right?
Shifty.
Yeah. Morris will inbound for Pine Bluff, down 14.
You know, we get the benefit of the doubt as little guys also. You know, you could flop. A big guy didn't invent flopping. It was a little guy, trust me. It had to be a little guy that invented flopping.
Well, I don't know. Can you really call a little guy flopping? Is it really flopping?
Absolutely it is.
I don't know. If you get run over.
Sell it. You got to sell it.
Panthers working through the zone, looking very active now. A lead will do that for you. Underneath Champagny in the short corner. There's Tony.
That's a great pass.
There's a great cut by Tony from the weak side as well. Now McNair pushing. Tony couldn't get it to go.
They have the guys that can operate in that area in Tony and Champagny that can catch it there, make a pass, or put it on the floor. Exploit that foul line extended area.
Great pass underneath and a big slam. Marquedrick Bell.
Okay.
Talk about some hops right there, Julius. He got up and around Terrell Brown for the flush.
He's giving us our money's worth. Oh, wait, we didn't pay for these seats.
That's one of the things about being an announcer is you get the best seats in the house and you never have to pay for them.
Yes, sir.
It's an amazing deal.
Yes, sir. And talk basketball. It doesn't get better.
That's right. Turnover by the Panthers. First turnover so far for Pittsburgh. Morris into the lane with the left. Gets fouled this time. 10-point lead for the Pitt Panthers at home over Arkansas Pine Bluff. We'll be right back.
Slow laptop? How about one that boots up fast? It's switching time. How's that for fast? Switch to booting up as fast as 6 seconds. Switch to Chromebook.
Well, if you're tuning into this game, you might not think that there would be a series history between Pittsburgh and Arkansas Pine Bluff, but in fact, we're here to prove you wrong. November 30th, 2002, number 5 Pitt in the third game ever played in the Peterson Event Center beat Pine Bluff by 40. And look at that, 14 points for Julius Page in the third game ever at the Pete back then. 17 years, Julius.
That's unbelievable. 17 years ago. I'm getting old.
Yeah, you
getting
are.
up there.
I'm not going to lie to you. I'm told to be honest, and I got to tell you, you're getting up there.
Yeah,
getting up there.
It's okay. It's better than the alternative.
You know what is cool about it, though? George Ivory, the head coach for Pine Bluff, he remembered you from that game because he was an assistant on that staff, and that's what I was talking about earlier. He loved your athleticism at the time, and I can't believe he actually remembered you in the pregame meeting.
It was cool, that whole dynamic of him, being there and me playing until you brought up that it was 17 years ago. Then it wasn't so cool. Like, once you put the number to it, it was like, oh, my God.
Because you say 2002, and it's like, oh, that was, a couple of years ago.
Yeah, right.
When, in fact, it was not.
It's okay.
Oh, that's amazing. Look at that reaction. That was the moment that I said 17 years ago.
Yeah.
See, I didn't even see it because I'm too worried about doing the math in my head, making sure 17 was actually the right number.
17 years ago.
Incredible.
Unreal.
I'm sorry to do it to you,
It's
man.
okay. It's all right.
We got to rag on you at some point.
It's going to happen sooner or later, right?
That's right. Hamilton fouled. I got to fill the spot of Jeff Hathorn, usually in the seat next to you. He rags on you all game, all the time. So I got to fill that spot.
Well, you have it easy. He's actually filling the spot for a legend in the Pittsburgh
That's
area.
true. That's true. I wouldn't say that filling his seat is an easy job by any means.
Not at all.
Hamilton at the line, gets it to go. Jeff Capel looking on, trying to get this team refocused and find their flow in the early season.
One of the things, after the fact, when we talked to Coach Capel before, the games, I try to think about like a creative question I would want to ask him. And then it hit me. His brother played at North Carolina, and he played at Duke. How is that even possible? Like, what is that about?
Yeah. Well, it's an ACC family for sure, a Tobacco Road family. And now the coolest thing about it to me is now they get to coach together every day. Honestly, though. But how is it, I wonder, when those two guys watch a Duke-Carolina game together?
Yeah, I think the little bro is trying to rub it in his face a little bit with the blue pocket square.
Oh, I see that.
He trying to sneak it in there.
Yeah, look at the other coaches on this bench, though, too. Tim O'Toole, Mylan Brown. All three of those guys, Tim, Jason, and Mylan, all former head coaches. You see what they did as players. And, of course, Jeff, a 4-year starter at Duke in his own right. Spent plenty of time under Coach K at Duke as an assistant. There's a lot of head coaching experience on that bench. And that's got to help when you got a young team like they do.
For sure. In regards to development, recruiting, it's an all-star cast. Been around the game for a while.
Pine Bluff, meanwhile, cutting into the lead now. Made their last 3 shots, the Golden Lions have. Now it's down to 8.
This game of runs. Got to withstand the storm. It's only a matter of time.
Teams are a combined 1 of 11 from 3-point range. Tony with a foul on the floor. Nice job muscling underneath. We knew that against the zone, Jeff Capel told us it was going to be a combination of a few guys in that high post area to try and get into the middle of it, Tony being one of them. Tony's a guy that last year started the year really, really well, slowed down a little during conference play, but this guy is extremely athletic, and if they get him back on track, he's going to be dangerous.
I think, he has to find his rhythm. He's a guy that can do pretty much anything. It's just a matter of, when and how. Is it going to be spotting up in the corner for the 3? Is it going to be attacking the glass? I think once he really understands his role, it's only up from there.
Tony started the first 4 games of the year, did not start against Monmouth, and I think that lit a fire under him a little bit. 10.7 rebounds on Monday.
It doesn't have to be, a slight to you because you come off the bench. Sometimes it's just rotation. It might be better energy-wise to bring him off the bench. So it could be a lot of different things the coach could be thinking in regards to making that change to the lineup.
Lions throw it away. But that's what this early season is about for this team. And Jeff Capel, talk about being an honest guy. He told us straight up, I'm still trying to figure this team out and what I have at my disposal and who's going to be consistent enough to earn the playing time. So every game is kind of a learning experience for him as well as the players.
Yeah, even the veterans on his team are young. Guy just shooting it right there, Xavier Johnson, is only a sophomore.
What a sophomore he is, all the talent that he brings to the table. Now a 12-point lead for the Panthers. Johnson, 2 of 3 from downtown for 6 points. Good underneath move by Bell. Comes down to the Panthers. Pine Bluff continuing to struggle from the field. Now 4 of 21, good for a 19% clip.
Nice ball movement by the Panthers. He's feeling it now. He's started out a little slow shooting it.
Hamilton gets it to go and 1. Hamilton's been active. 14-point lead for the Panthers. Look at Johnson's 3.
Yeah, he went underneath the screen. He can pay. And a big fella just putting in work. Using the muscles, the weight room. I mentioned it last year. The strength and conditioning coach. Gary over there, he's been telling me to come in there in the mornings. I don't know if I'm ready for him. I don't know.
I don't think you can compete with Gary Christopher.
Oh, no. Not yet. I told him I have to get in shape to come work out with him. I'm not in shape yet to come get in shape with that guy.
It's so funny. He's such a nice guy. Fun-loving guy. Works really well with the players.
Oh, yeah. Positive. You got to have that kind of guy, that kind of personality around the program.
You said it, though. Eric Hamilton looked like he'd been putting some time in the weight room. That high arcing shot comes down off the rim. Cameron Posey with the rebound. Now it's up to Bell and a nice lay-in. Pine Bluff pushing the tempo. Lead to 13 for the Panthers. I do want to touch on Eric Hamilton, though, because like I said before, we did ask Jeff Capel about him. And he said, heading into this game tonight, Eric Hamilton had only 1 defensive rebound. And tonight already he has 5 defensive rebounds, 7 total, and 8 points to lead the Panthers. He looks like he is ready to play tonight.
I think he got the memo. He's going to have to definitely do a better job on the glass, being the anchor down there. If Pitt want to win ACC games, it's going to have to give you a lot more. He's going to have to be consistent with 5+ easily.
Morris in the middle, fouled, gets front rim. He'll go to the line. Panthers with a 13-point lead with the under 4 timeout in the first.
This is the Nest Hub Max from Google. It plays live TV, and you can pause it with magic. Ta-da! Un-ta-da! Ta-doff! Ta-don!
Coach Jeff Capel got on Eric Hamilton about having one defensive rebound coming into this game. My man, this is the Steel City. You know, come on, we got the Steelers here. You got to get a little rugged out here. And he's showing Arkansas Pine Bluff right now. Listen, man, Coach got on me. I'm going to have to do some flexing on you.
Yeah, Hamilton has really looked like a beast underneath so far. Panthers with a big advantage underneath right now. And you see where he's come from. Atlanta, Georgia, the hometown. Obviously, last year, UNC Greensboro is where he was. He's a grad transfer. He's had 3 NCAA tournaments under his belt, formerly with Wichita State for a couple years, then transferred to UNC Greensboro. Now as a grad transfer trying to earn his degree in social work here with the Panthers. He's been a guy that had a lot of expectations. Panthers needed a big guy in the offseason. Hasn't shown up to this point in terms of this season, but tonight he looks like a new player and a new man. So it's good to see Eric Hamilton with some new legs underneath him.
Well, yeah, you know, with him coming from somewhere else, it's still similar to being a freshman, different program, different atmosphere, different players. You know, dynamic is just something that you have to learn. You know, but it was great for the Panthers losing Chukwuka, who gave the Panthers some really good minutes last year, to have a guy come in and actually fill in that role, being active off the bench.
Not only that, he brings some senior leadership as well. I mean, that's something that the Panthers are definitely starved for, is a guy with some experience, and he definitely brings that. Looks like a Division I basketball player. Tonight we're seeing what he's capable of.
He plays with that edge, that anger with him.
Bell kicking it out to Wilson. Wilson on the bounce. Now it's Bell again, tries a deep one. He's been only underneath so far. He misses the long try. Under 3 minutes, 11-point lead for Pittsburgh. Saw Ryan Murphy the previous possession, Julius, miss another three. He's 0 of 5 from downtown tonight. The sharpshooter.
Keep shooting it. It'll fall. That's what shooters do. But the advantage is inside.
With this guy, as he comes right back, Eric Hamilton. Koulibaly heads to the bench again. Markel Carter coming on for Pine Bluff. Marquedrick Bell will take a seat. Carter had 22 points against Kansas State on Tuesday. Corner three is good for Johnson.
And that's doing something else for Murphy. Shot is not falling. Shot fake, put it on the floor, kick it out for a three. He's a guy who's going to, you know, against ACC teams, Pitt is not going to have a size advantage, so they will need him to continue taking those shots. He can't shy away just because the shot is not fouled.
Despite Johnson's early season struggles on the offensive end, shooting almost 40% heading into this game tonight, 3 of 4 from beyond the arc, 9 points to lead the Panthers. Here he goes off the bounce. A great look underneath to Hamilton, who finishes it. And that's going to force George Ivory to take a timeout. A 16-point lead for Pittsburgh. Johnson, Hamilton, everybody getting involved.
Wish you had a battery that lasted longer than lunch?
Yeah.
Order up. It's switching time. There, that's better. Switched up to 12 hours of battery life. Switch to Chromebook.
Back quickly with you here. 16-point lead at the Peterson Event Center for the Panthers. Arkansas Pine Bluff, 13 points in this first half. Jeff Capel got to be happy with what he's seeing so far, Julius.
Yeah, the energy on the glass, moving the ball around, getting into that high post area.
You feel like the Panthers are finally starting to pick the zone apart. You're finding open positions, whether it's in the deep corner for threes or underneath off the bounce. That's one of the things Jeff Capel was nervous about. He admitted it heading into this game. Not a lot of teams play full zone anymore. Obviously, Syracuse is the first one that comes to mind, but Arkansas Pine Bluff will play zone about 90% of the time. He was nervous about the way his team would react. So far, it looks like they're picking it apart as this first half wears on. Taking
the shots in rhythm is the most important thing, not just jacking up and settling.
Robert Boyd with a triple for Pine Bluff. Lead down to 13.
But it just makes you stand around. Kind of just pass the ball, no real movement.
Quick perimeter passing for Pittsburgh. Johnson Looks underneath, short corner now, Champagny. Turns around. Tony, deep in the corner. No good, and there's a foul underneath.
It's a war going on down there.
Eric Hamilton was tied up with Robert Boyd. Foul will go to Boyd.
It's a tall task trying to keep that guy off the offensive glass.
This is what you were talking about earlier. The big bodies underneath.
Yeah. Constantly fighting like that, and then, you know, a guard get beat off the dribble, he's expected to step up and help. Box out, lay a body, rebound, outlet.
Panthers in the bonus, so a 1-and-1 for Hamilton. Misses the front end. Under a minute to play in the first. Pine Bluff down 13, trying to cut into it.
Man-to-man defense by the Panthers.
Morris tried the reverse attempt, got fouled on the way up.
You know, against these teams, sometimes you feel like you can get away with being a little lazy on defense. It's not the greatest habit to have. Just because you're bigger. I can make up for it with my size, maybe jump up there and get the block shot. You would like to see some rotation, maybe try to take the charge. Would you take a charge there, Kevin?
That was my
Sacrifice
specialty.
your body?
When I used to play, I always did. I mean, I came off the bench and it was either a corner three or taking a charge in the chest. That was my way of contributing.
Okay.
Because I couldn't keep up with anybody.
You got to know, hey, that's the skill set, is knowing what you do well.
Something like that. Timeout on the floor. Jeff Capel wants to get the most out of this final possession of the first half. 11-point lead. Well, it's finally here, everybody. You can download the Disney Plus app right now and start streaming the best of Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, and National Geographic ad-free and wherever and whenever you want them. For more, go to DisneyPlus.com. There's a heck of a deal getting offered too, Julius. $13. You get Hulu, you get Disney Plus, and watch ESPN. Unbelievable deal.
I just heard about it for the first time earlier this week, and it has come up in my household easily 20 times.
Of course.
Seriously,
Well, you said your daughter's 15?
Oh, my. She can't stay off of it.
Of course. Of course.
I'm
well,
like,
that's all the
where
stuff.
did it come from? Like, all of a sudden.
Well, now it's all readily available. You know, you grow up with that stuff, and now it's all back. It's at your fingertips.
Hey.
It's like everything this day and age.
Yo, it's the gift and the curse.
Xavier Johnson with the ball out top. He's going to watch the clock tick down. 20 seconds on the first half clock. See what Jeff Capel drew up in the huddle.
Going man-to-man.
Into the middle. Tries to get a layup. Hamilton, who else, gets the putback. Hamilton with 12 points to lead all scorers in the first. Clock ticking down. Into the middle. It's Morris. Skying high. This one rattles out. No good. A 13-point lead riding on the back of grad transfer Eric Hamilton. The Panthers pouring it on in the first half. It's been a fun one so far at the Peterson Event Center. Don't go anywhere, everybody. We got another half to play coming up right after this.
This is the Nest Hub from Google. That's a good shot. And it can, that's a keeper. This thing is really useful because, did I mention it shows you photos?
Back with you at the Peterson Event Center. You know, it's an old saying, actions speak louder than words. And everybody knows what that is and what it means, but it means something a little bit different to everybody. So now let's hear from a number of Pitt's coaches on what that saying means to them.
That's really, I think that's huge. Actions speak louder than words. I think that as a leader, you have to practice what you preach, and you have to, again, embody your philosophy, not just talk about it.
You've got to be able to speak it, but then you have to have the action behind that, and you have to be a doer.
I can sit here and say, hey, I want to be Coach of the Year, or have a team that wins ACCs this year in cross country. Doesn't mean it's going to happen if we don't do the work. If I don't do the work, it's not going to happen.
You are champions, and you're here for a reason. You earned the right to play this game.
And all of a sudden, we go to a championship game, and all of a sudden, our kids think, "Look what the coach has changed. What are we doing now?" I think that screws up the whole recipe. I think the consistency out of our coaches and how we act, how we treat them every day has to stay the same.
My outlook is I'm not going to tell them to do something that I wouldn't do myself. And right, so if I'm telling these guys that their work ethic is important, they better see that I have a good work ethic.
I think you see so many people in the world now that just say stuff. Everyone, and there are more outlets to just say stuff. Social media gives you an outlet just to say stuff. And so I always try to look at a person's actions. Do they match what they're saying? Because you have a lot of liars out here. You have a lot of people that just make stuff up.
They're looking at us, and if we're not doing what we're saying and we're not practicing what we preach, so to speak, then it's going to be a lot harder for the team to embrace the culture. So
one of my big things is that I'll never lie to a kid. And it's never a recruiting spiel. It's not, it's from the heart. It's what I feel, it's what I mean, it's what we feel. And when you come and play for us, I don't want you saying, well, what was that you told me? And so you have to back it up by actions. I think it's the basis of any really good relationship.
You could break that down to players telling you that they want to play and they deserve to play, and you say, well, that's great, but what have you done? What kind of time are you putting in? What are you doing in the classroom? That's important to us as well. What are you doing away from the soccer pitch? What kind of life are you leading there?
You can talk about what you want to accomplish, but we're going to see it every day, sometimes twice a day. Do you really want to do what you're saying you want to do by your actions in the pool, your actions in the weight room, your actions from a dry land standpoint?
But it's also having the student athlete's mindset to where they can do it and they want to do it more than anything.
If we're training at a really, really high level every day, then we're going to go to the games and not have to find something new. So we're always trying to push, and look at, hey, would the way we're playing, would that beat Florida State? Would that beat UNC? Would that beat Oregon in the preseason?
And there's a lot of people who can do it. They can all do it. But to be committed enough to do it, there's only going to be a handful of people who want to sacrifice and make the commitment to be a Division I athlete 24 hours a day.
Those people that understand that, they do what they have to be successful, and they're selfless, and they know how to do the work, and they put the extra time in.
That statement is true in every walk of life, and I think those that really honor it and buy into that statement are certainly the student athletes that are more successful.
Did you forget to pay for virus protection for like the 30th week in a row? It's switching time. Now that's how you make an entrance. Switch to built-in virus protection. Switch to Chromebook.
We're down here watching some men's basketball in the Peterson Event Center where the Panthers have a 31-18 lead at halftime. But just up the hill, the Pitt men's soccer team for the first time since 1965 in the NCAA tournament. It's halftime up there as well against Lehigh. And the Panthers have a 2-0 lead, up there. You see Edward Kizo with the first goal, Bryce Washington with the second just before halftime. The Panthers up 2-0 over Lehigh. You see the numbers there. Lehigh only 4 shots, goalie playing decently well, a couple of saves. But really the big thing here, the first NCAA tournament match since 1965. You see the crowd on hand and the support from the Pitt faithful. It's an absolutely amazing thing to see. So if the Panthers win, who do they play next? Well, they get Georgetown, and that would be November 24th at noon. You see at the bottom of the bracket as well. Another ACC team in Louisville taking on South Florida right now. The winner of that game gets UC Davis, but Louisville, they are scoreless in the first half there. Panthers up 2-0 on the soccer field. What a heck of a time that would be. Here in the Pete, it's 31-18. We'll be back and show you some highlights and stats right after this.
This is the Nest Hub from Google. That's a good shot. And it can, that's a keeper. This thing is really useful because, did I mention it shows you photos?
Some of the beautiful Supermo shots from the first half here at the Peterson Event Center. 31-18 lead for the Pittsburgh Panthers over Arkansas Pine Bluff. Welcome to the table. Kevin Wheeler, Julius Page with you here at the Pete. Julius, we talked a lot earlier about the Pine Bluff zone and what the Panthers were going to have to do to beat it. So far, they're making easy work of it. They're doing a great job getting the ball to the high post and attacking the glass with rebounds, second chance shots. You know, they have the size advantage. What more can you say? Well, it's all about the movement, right? The passing, high post. Here's some of the looks at what they did against that zone. Well, this guy is a handful. Xavier Johnson breaking it down off the dribble and guys cutting to the basket. Just moving it. And when you have skilled guys like Champagny who's able to catch the ball in that high post area, pass the ball, make moves from there, it's going to be difficult to keep guys out of the penalty area. One of the bigger stories, though, is Eric Hamilton underneath. Had struggled coming into this game this year, but right now 12 points, 8 rebounds, and he looks like a man amongst boys. That's exactly what he is. I think he had a little bit of motivation from Coach, knowing that he expected him to have more of a presence in the previous games. I think he's doing a very good job at having his presence felt in this game tonight. Xavier Johnson, a guy that really started to heat up in that second half against Monmouth on Monday, and tonight it's the same story for him. A couple of threes, 9 points for Xavier Johnson, 4 assists, but you're right, everything in rhythm for him so far. I think that's been key for him, just not forcing the issue. You see some of the numbers from the first half. Panthers with 3 3-pointers, all of them coming from the hand of Xavier Johnson. Although the Panthers are getting out-rebounded underneath, which is something that Jeff Capel talked to us about, is something that they need to clean up on the front court. But you see second chance points, 12-2, and that shows you the fight in the Panthers so far tonight. Yeah, starting with Hamilton, 12 and 8 at halftime. He's on par to have a really big night, and hopefully he continues to carry on for him. Builds his confidence up as we get closer and closer to conference play. That first half on Monday against Monmouth, the Panthers shot 5 of 26, 19% from the floor. It was one of the things that they were concerned about coming into this game, was how do we start faster? How do we make sure that we have a lead heading into halftime? It was something they struggled with for the number of games they played this year, but that second half against Monmouth, 64% shooting so far tonight. Shooting 38% from the floor and defensively looking pretty active. So Jeff Capel and the rest of the Pitt coaching staff got to be happy. On the other side for Pine Bluff, though, what do you got to do to try and narrow this thing down? Because they're not out of it by any means, only a 13-point deficit. One possession at a time. So far, they got to stop right now. Now you have to figure out how to get to the basket. Maybe, get to the free throw line. But it's a tall challenge when you're undersized. Usually you would want to pick up the pace, but I don't know if picking up the pace against this Panther team with Trey McGowan's and Xavier Johnson running the show is, something that you want to consider. You might want to slow them down a little bit. 8th turnover for Pine Bluff. Short corner jumper for Champagny, nice and smooth. In rhythm. Once again, he's just a guy who just always around the basket. Short corner. Dish underneath and a big dunk from Bell. The second time we've seen that tonight. Got some hops. One up strong. First Golden Lion into double digits. How about the call from Coach Capel to start the game, though? I mean, you said it to start the second half. They've been getting off to slow starts. Then to draw a lob for Brown. For sure. It's an easy way to get your guys going. That was a lob to Bell from Morris. Came up empty. Now Johnson's speed. Took a bunch of steps as he ran up the court, but they're going to call a foul instead. Nice pass off the penetration. Strong finish. That's a little Shaq-esque right there. He likes it. Got it. A little bit more of that. Keep fighting, get a stop. Penetration. Lead still 13 for Pitt. Murphy's been cold, dishes to McGowan's, and he walked on the way. We'll just pack it in. Outside of Xavier Johnson, the Panthers have been struggling to shoot the ball. I would just pack it in. Dare someone else to shoot the ball. Is there a point where maybe you start shading a guy over toward Johnson? You see how cold everybody is? See Johnson just eating up McNair right now.
Got to get after him. Set the tone.
Is there a point where you could double Johnson as an opposing coach?
It's hard because he's just so crafty off the dribble. It's just difficult. Unless it's a pick and roll and the guy is there, you couldn't just run a guy out of him. His vision is too good. It's too creative.
McNair from the corner, bottoms it out. First bucket of the night for McNair. Now it's down to 10. It's Pine Bluff showing some life. Fight for it, and it's going to go Pine Bluff's way. Nice defensive play. DeQuan Morris. McNair was in on it as well.
That's the energy. Morris is clapping his hands by the table.
Take another look at who it went off of.
Like it went off with Murphy's hand.
It's the fourth turnover of the night. Eric Hamilton will exit now. So he just picked up his third foul. Terrell Brown will come in for him. Trey McGowan's with a couple of fouls for the Panthers as well. And 3 guys for Pine Bluff with a couple of fouls. Xavier Johnson with the steal. He's out in the break, going up and slams it home.
Good defense. Good transition offense.
Finishes it with the tomahawk.
He's very athletic for a point guard.
Xavier Johnson's 32nd career game in double digits. He's only played 39 in his career. As you see Bell sink the 3. 13 points for Marquidrick Bell. That leads all scorers now.
He's picking up where some of the other great point guards at this university has done. The Brandon Knights of the world.
Let's look at the Johnson dunk again.
I don't know if any of them can get up like that, though. What do you think? Do we have any point guards that can get up?
I don't know, JP1. Why don't you tell me?
I wasn't a point guard, so you know, I can't take credit for that.
Well, he's got the one on the jersey, though.
Oh, yeah,
the thing.
And he's repping it right.
Right.
He's definitely doing that. Looks good on him. It looks better on him, especially with the gold shoes.
Man, what a compliment from you.
His swagger. Oh, yeah. I would let him know if he wasn't repping it right.
Champagny misses the free one after getting the and one. Champagny now with 10 points.
I'm waiting for Morris to try Brown one time. Looked like he thought about it, driving baseline right there.
Yeah.
Go ahead, try it.
There's the shoes, Julius.
Oh, yeah. They would have went great with the gold in our uniforms way back in the day, way back 17 years ago, since you had to bring that up.
Yeah.
They would have went wonderful with those baggy dresses we wore.
Yeah, the old torched font. Murphy gets this one to go, and he loves it. Finally, he's feeling it a little bit. The bench finally relieved. Ryan Murphy, his 7th try from 3, finally goes.
Shoot or shoot.
Lead is 14 for the Panthers. Pine Bluff driving in. It's McNair. He loses it. Bell. And the Lions lose it out of bounds. Ryan Murphy, the sharpshooter himself, has had some ups and downs this year. Tonight he was 0 for 6 before this one puts the Panthers up by 14.
This is the Nest Hub Max from Google. It plays live TV, and you can pause it with magic. Ta-da! Un-ta-da! Ta-doff! Ta-don!
Well, the Panthers' second leading scorer coming into tonight finally got his first bucket, just hit a 3 before that break. And that reminded us, he kind of looks like somebody. What do you think here?
This guy, J.J. Redick, 16 seasons in the NBA. That is huge. But that guy was a problem in college. Coming off those screens, that was a nightmare.
Well, that was one of the things that we saw from Ryan Murphy earlier in the year, is running off a bunch of screens, constantly moving on offense. A big slam for Champagnie. 16-point lead for the Panthers.
You're being compared to J.J. Redick in any way, shape, or form. You're doing something well.
His work rate is up there. Now, would J.J. Redick have gone 1 of 7? I don't know.
I'm sure he has before.
Maybe not in college, though. I don't know.
Definitely not in college.
Listen, if we're talking looks, they look alike to me.
A little bit.
Here's Champagnie.
And he's always just around that basket again. Finishing with the layups with a short mid-range jump shot.
Great dish there from Johnson as well.
It's like he can get you 10 and 5 in his sleep.
Champagnie with 12. It's his 4th straight game in double figures. Just before that, Pine Bluff turned it over in their own corner.
He just has good size. He reminds me of Chevy Troutman, a guy that you just don't have to call a play for. Just around the basket, great touch, good athlete. It's going to be a problem.
And Champagnie, you're talking about Chevy Troutman. He led all scorers with 15 the last time the Panthers played Pine Bluff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you had 14, and he outscored you that day.
I'm not shocked at all.
Chevy Troutman, a Pitt favorite, obviously. If you're getting compared to him as a freshman and as Justin Champagnie, you're doing something right.
He rocked the hairstyle, too. Chevy used to have the furrow.
He's still got that.
He got a pony. He's a studio is what we call it now. He's a rock star now. He put it in a ponytail.
Panthers up by 17. Just a few moments ago, it was a 9-point lead, and Pitt exploded. 8-0 run over the last couple of minutes for Pitt. Held ball's going to stay on the Pine Bluff side.
This guy's from the Empire State.
See, Champagnie's first career start was Monday against Monmouth. Recorded a double-double, also the first of his career. You see what he's done tonight. 12 points, 5 rebounds, following it up in a positive way.
And to think that Coach Capel was expecting more from him after posting a double-double. He's doing something well in practice on a daily basis.
And it's crazy with him, too. Jeff Capel told us a pretty interesting story about him, that in the summer, they realized that Justin Champagnie had a dislocated pinky. And he had it for like a year, and he didn't even know it. And then all of a sudden, he has to get surgery, sits out for a while. When the Panthers went to Italy over the summer, barely even practiced or played. And then he had to adjust to right away. All of a sudden, he's back in the thick of things, and he's ready to play as Bell flushes another one. And it was a crazy thing. And then on top of that, they thought he might have been hurt with a knee. Thought it might have been serious. Then it wasn't. A couple weeks out from the season, oh, you're fine. Your knee's good. Your finger's good. You're ready to play. And as a freshman, he stepped in and contributed in a huge way for Pittsburgh in a way that maybe nobody ever really expected him to.
It says a lot about his character. Just going with the flow. I don't think I can do it. I remember my freshman year, the ups and downs. It's taking a lot better than I did, for sure. It's rough on your body. I didn't go through any injuries, but for him to go through a couple injuries already. And he's a gamer.
Let's look back at the Bell dunk just a moment ago. It's 3 dunks, and he's rocked the rim every time.
You see Tony looked at it like, do I want to get up there and try? I think that was a smart move.
It's just easier sometimes to get out of the way.
A lot easier.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a step late. You're going to find yourself getting a lot of text messages by your friends. We saw you on the highlights.
Marquedrick Bell with 15. He's the only Golden Lion in double figures tonight. As that one misses everything. Panthers coming the other way. Out to the corner, it's Murphy. He's definitely going to fire it. Gets front iron this time. The tap attempt by Tony doesn't go.
Good effort.
Mishandled by Morris. Finally holds on to it and kicks it out to the top. It's Wilson.
I think Murphy might feel a little pressed to make those threes, understanding that he is the guy. The number's going to be called when the Panthers teams played in the zone.
That was the thought coming into tonight for sure. Panthers couldn't take advantage of that in transition. Johnson left alone. He'll take the three and misses. This one will stay with the Panthers. Bell had a hand on it. Johnson with 11, one of 3 Panthers in double figures tonight. Hamilton and Champagny with 12 apiece. Panthers taking care of the basketball tonight, 4 turnovers. Pine Bluff with 13. Johnson to the bench. Onebuchi as Akuda comes on for him. Sophomore guard, and so does Eric Hamilton as Terrell Brown heads to the bench.
I think this may be the first time I saw the Panthers go without Trey McGowens and Xavier Johnson together.
When you're up by 17, you feel like you can do that a little bit. Trey McGowens has had 2 fouls for much of this game. He's been playing with it, playing pretty clean. McGowan's scoreless, though. That's something you don't see very often. Only 2 field goal attempts.
I'd say we're about to check back in. Still good. It's not that, you know, it's not about the stats, but just to see him get a rhythm.
Koulibaly out to Murphy.
They wanted him to go with the Kevin McHale right there. Up and unders.
Nice lay-in by Koulibaly. Never brought the ball down, and that's the key. 19-point lead now for Pitt.
I was hoping he went up with it. Finish that off. Nice move.
19-point advantage for the Panthers. We'll be back in a moment.
This is the Nest Hub Max from Google. It plays live TV, and you can pause it with magic. Ta-da! Un-ta-da! Ta-doff! Ta-don!
The Pitt volleyball team has clinched their 3rd straight ACC title. You can come see the Panthers play on Pitt's biggest stage, the Peterson Event Center, tomorrow against Florida State and November 27th against Louisville. Be there for the party at the Pete as Pitt continues its journey toward national title dreams. Both matches, of course, can be seen on the ACC Network. Thanks for joining us tonight on the ACC Network. As the lob attempt gets tipped, it's off the hand of Tony. It'll go Pine Bluff's way. Kevin Wheeler and Julius Page with you tonight. Panthers on a 12-2 run over the last 5.5 minutes.
That's the play right there.
That's again Jeff Capel going to the clipboard to try and get Tony involved offensively. Tony hasn't hit a shot from the field tonight, has a couple of free throws for 2 points.
I think he'll get it going. Just keep getting the ball around that foul line area, make something happen. He's skilled enough. That's the Jerron Brown area right there. He used to make a killing there against Syracuse when they played zone.
We thought we were going to see a lob play tonight at some point for Daquan Morris. We haven't seen it yet for Pine Bluff, number 23. We've seen him get up a couple times, but never for a dunk. Not in this game. Tony can't get it to go, but he'll go to the free throw line.
Not to try it off the dribble. Watching these guys, sometimes I forget that these Tony, Xavier, McGowens are just sophomores. feel like they've been here for so long.
It was a long year last year, and you think that because they all started basically as soon as the season began. All those guys were in the starting lineup and expected to contribute. Those guys, those three that you mentioned, Johnson, McGowan's, Tony, accounted for almost 50% of the team scoring last year. And it was a Pitt freshman record between the three of them, averaging 35 points a game. It's impressive what they were able to do last year.
Great experience and something to build on. Couple that with some fresh recruits that can play. Program will be turned around in no time.
Foul on the floor. But it's what Jeff Capel talked about after that game against Monmouth, is the expectations now that come with being, excelling as a freshman. And people see what you're made of and see the talent that you have. And then guys like Johnson, McGowan's, Tony, they're still trying to figure out how to play college basketball as sophomores. They get a year under their belt, but the learning experience doesn't stop. And every single night, they're being taught lessons. Every single day in practice, they're being taught how to play at this level.
And without the veteran leadership on the team to actually help you through that, that's something that I think get taken for granted, is having maybe a senior on the team that can walk you through the ins and outs and break things down for you. I know when I was here, I had some older guys be able to give me a few tips on how to, maybe get better with it or how to read something. So to not have that, I think, might be the biggest thing that they're missing.
See the returning scorers in the ACC across the board. Xavier Johnson at number 3. Of course, Jordan Ora, and we know what he can do at Louisville. Xavier Johnson 3rd on that list. Trey McGowan's at 14th on that list. Those are points per game last year. So when you're on a list like that, a top 15 player in the ACC, things are expected of you. And unfortunately, everyone else outside of the team, they expect things to happen faster than maybe they should.
Oh, yeah. It's Pittsburgh. Spoiled. That's what I say all the time. You have the Penguins, got Stanley Cups, and the Steelers with Super Bowls. There's a lot of winning that goes on in this city. So, you don't have that long to lose before they get a little impatient.
There's a lot of winning that went on here as well for a lot of years.
For sure. But you got to give it time.
As Akuda gets it up to Coulibaly, who puts it off the glass and in. Coulibaly getting some quality minutes.
I say the best thing to do is to stick it out. I know you become impatient. People start talking about making changes and things of that nature. I'm not a big fan of doing things like that. I feel once you get a guy, support him even when he has that 1 or 2 off seasons, and let him work and recruit out of it. But hey, I don't cut the check, so.
That's right. What this Pitt team was able to do with such a young roster last year, I don't think you can understate it. 4 ACC wins, but there were a lot of people who thought they wouldn't get that many.
Sure, with a new coach also. I was shocked that he brought in the talent that he did bring in.
Well, he's known as a recruiter. There's a guy he recruited this past offseason, and Justin Champagnie. He's making his presence felt tonight with 14 points. Leads the Panthers. McGowan's on the break. McNair able to get in there and take it away. Talk about low center of gravity, coming in and taking it away. Now it's Bell laying it in transition.
I think Coach Ivory gave us the wrong guy.
Well, he said he highlighted Bell. It's a 20-point lead for the Panthers.
T-Mobile's newest signal reaches farther than ever before. With more engineers, more towers, more coverage. It's a network that gives you with coverage from big cities to small towns. Introducing T-Mobile's 600 megahertz signal. No signal reaches farther or is more reliable, and it's built 5G ready.
Arkansas Pine Bluff visiting the Pete. So let's take a look at Pine Bluff, Arkansas, where, of course, the university is. 9th largest city in Arkansas. Julius, you're talking about people are spoiled in Pittsburgh. Well, down in Pittsburgh, Kansas, and Pittsburgh, Texas, there's a nice little triangle there. Pittsburgh with a G, of course. And a notable alumnus, L.C. Greenwood, a former Steeler, member of the Steel Curtain. And, of course, we have to go right back to break here, Julius. Another dead ball. We'll be back in just a moment here at the Pitt.
You know that feeling when your favorite taco place gives you an extra taco for free? It's kind of how it felt when I saved hundreds by switching to Geico.
Well, let's sort through what happened here. You see, this is a foul on Bell before the ball was even inbounded just a few moments ago. And that was the away from the ball foul that was called, which is why we had to go right back to a media timeout after you joined us before. So now that we've sorted through that, let's play again.
Bell's playing hard.
20-point lead for the Panthers.
To the last whistle, he's competing.
Bell with 17 points, 8 of 16 shooting for Pine Bluff tonight. 3 personal fouls. Underneath, Samson George newly into the game. Couldn't get it to go, no foul called. Bassey was down there defending.
On the bright side for Arkansas Pine Bluff, last game they had Carter go off and Bell's playing well today. So maybe when they're at full strength, those guys will have, the confidence to contribute.
Xavier Johnson with another flush. "13 points for Xavier Johnson.
That's a breakaway dunk. You got to give him something
special. Yeah.
Come on.
He just duplicated what he did before.
You got to give him something better than that, my man. Come on.
Murphy thought about it. Koulibaly at the top of the key, turns around, nice dish to George, goes up and gets fouled. Samson George just couldn't get off his feet quick enough. Here's the breakaway for you, Julius. Nice tip by Murphy.
You looking back, nobody coming? Toss it off the glass to yourself. But he got up there.
That's a little much, my friend. I don't know if Coach Cable would appreciate that.
You don't think so?
I don't know. But then again, that might be a good sign for Mr. Johnson, getting his spunk back, his flair, his confidence.
If not at that particular time, when is the best time to do something
That's
like
true,
that?
I guess. George buries it. That's a good point you made, though, about Pine Bluff, where, they're starting to find guys that can contribute. Tonight it's Marquedrick Bell. The other night it was Markel Carter. We know that Daquan Morris can play, but they're without their 2 best guys right now in Sean Dawson, Terrence Banyard. So if they get those 2 guys back strong at some point in the next few games, they could be something to be reckoned with in the SWAC. There's Bell again, a nice reverse layup, getting high.
Just put it all together, get their chemistry, a couple tough practices.
Pine Bluff still winning the rebound margin by 4. But they've turned it over 17 times. Koulibaly blocked underneath. Here's Morris skying with a 2-hand dunk.
Easy hops off of 2 feet. I can see the comparison.
I don't know.
A little bit.
I think that I would like to have a jumping competition between the 2 of you.
Well, right now he's going to win by a landslide.
I don't know. You were talking a big game earlier because you're talking about dunking in your loafers earlier.
I can do that.
Here,
easily.
let's take a look at it again.
Yeah, 2-foot jumper. Oh, yeah. Effortless, too. And he's done it before, you can tell.
I'd say the same thing to him, though, that you said about Johnson. In this game right now, you got to give me a little more.
Well, you see the guy still running in transition. So, with Johnson, nobody was really sprinting to get after him. So that's when you can really get fancy. In that situation, you don't want to in an event that somebody try to, get up there, and then you don't want to get injured or anything like that.
That was Morris's first field goal of the game. 7 points for DeQuan Morris.
But you tell the coach afterwards if you want to say, we didn't need all that sauce. Say, coach, remember you told us, like, practices is for you and the games is for us? So, let me do my thing.
I don't know who said that. I think you're making that up.
No, all coaches say that. That's like on every coach refrigerator. They have that posted. Practices is for me, games are for you.
In the coaching fraternity, there's T-shirts that get handed out when you join. Johnson for three again, back iron. Tony skying for the offensive rebound, trying to get it to Champagnie. It'll stay with the Panthers.
Just go up strong with it. Just take it yourself.
You can see Tony still being a little timid on the offensive end, working through his own confidence. Jeff Capel described his team as young and insecure, which is very boldly honest, but it's something that you can see at times when this team is playing.
Well, yeah. If they had a guy that was a little older, let's say like a senior, you would just naturally have a hierarchy. But with these guys being so young, they don't really know who's the guy. So it's kind of like everybody trying to see where they fit in at.
On the floor,
they'll figure it out.
No, I was going to say, on the floor right now even, you've got 3 sophomores and 2 freshmen for Pittsburgh. And that's the way they're going to navigate through much of the season.
And they can all play. I don't think Coach Capel will want to just pinpoint a guy and say he's our guy. He kind of he wants it to organically happen.
Underneath Bell, trying again, gets this one to go. You see the roster breakdown. 6 sophomores, 5 freshmen. So 11 players, underclassmen on this roster. And those are the guys that are getting the bulk of the minutes. The upperclassmen aren't getting as many as maybe you would expect on a team like this. But that's part of rebuilding a program and trying to breed talent, have them grow up quicker. There's Champagnie.
Guys like Champagnie.
That's right, 16 points now. Leads Pittsburgh. Panthers have played well defensively tonight as well. And that actually has been the case in the early season. Regardless of the game, it's been the offense that's let them down in a number of games. It hasn't been the defense per se. Putting another solid outing on the floor tonight.
I think it's those moments, Florida State come in here, big game, West Virginia. Guys who can create with ease just get a little excited. Instead of moving the ball from side to side, tend to try to do it all off the dribble. But hey, I was a young guy at one point, tried to do it all. Feel like you could win a game with one basket. One possession at a time. You learn the hard way.
It takes a couple losses to get that in your brain.
Sure. Then you become a senior and say, if I only knew when I was a freshman what I know now.
Or really, if I only listened to my coaches when I was a freshman.
The game is, the pace of it is so different that you're not even really, you don't have time to even think about the coach at this point. You're kind of just playing.
Panthers take a timeout to get some subs in. Champagnie with a big dunk. The Panthers are up by 21 points. Justin Champagnie pouring it on for the Panthers.
Happy birthday, all caps, exclamation point, cake slice emoji, candle emoji, emoji with the heart eyes.
Pitt up by 21. Justin Champagnie with a career high 18 points tonight, following up on his first career start on Monday, his first career double-double, and a heck of a night tonight, getting some coaching here from Jeff Capel at the end of the game.
A lot of upside for that guy. The ceiling is very high.
You called it pregame, though. You said that was the guy tonight to watch. You called it.
Well, he's a guy with size. He can do just about everything on the floor. As Murphy hits a 3, good to see. After I was just giving him the business for going 1 for 9, he must have hurt me. He said, shut up over there, old head.
Now he's 2 for 10, 6 points. Panthers with a 7-0 run over the last couple of minutes, opening this thing up.
Well, let it fly, Murphy.
3 for Marcus Wallace. Lead to 21. So, obviously, we're nearing the end of this thing, and it's out of hand. So let me ask you, what have you been most impressed by tonight on the Pitt side of things?
Well, you just mentioned it, Justin Champagnie. I think, offensively, what he brings to the table on the glass and in that mid-range area is something that Pitt really needs to get some easy baskets. Defensively, they're the bigger team, so it's kind of hard to really gauge that. But offensively, it's definitely a bright spot.
For Pine Bluff on the other side, I mean, we talked earlier about how many road games they play in their schedule, and we asked George Ivory about it, and he said it's really just about preparing for the SWAC conference play coming up in January, and they go and get an opportunity to play in big venues. They come and they can say they played in the Peterson Event Center. Now they go back to the Southwestern Athletic Conference after playing the likes of Kansas State and Pittsburgh. They're going to be a better team for it.
Absolutely. I think one of the things I would do if I was the coach would put together a highlight reel of all of the things that they did well, on this road trip. Mentally, losing on the road can wear on you. So letting your guys see, look, we was in some of these games and we can play with these teams to help build them back up. So when conference play start, they have a little swagger. So hopefully, the losing just doesn't carry out. That would be the biggest thing I think the concern would be if I was coaching.
And they hope to get Doss and Banyard back as well, give them a little more firepower as they get closer to January. Panthers in the ACC picked 10th in the conference, already with one ACC win over Florida State to open the season.
Do you like that first game? To start the ACC with the tip up the first game like that?
I mean, you understand why they do it, but at the same time, I mean, it's tough because if you're on the losing end of that, you hate it, right? If you win that game, you say, okay, we escaped. But I feel like that's more of what it says. I don't know if a coach is saying, oh, we went out there and handled our business and got a win. It's more of like we escaped our first game being a conference game with a win. And that's really what it feels like. Because as you said, I mean, we've been talking about it all night. Every team in the conference, no matter who it is still trying to work themselves out. Breakaway layup for the Panthers. Easy Okuda.
I agree with you 100%.
That's the first time all night you agreed with me. This is perfect. Right at the end, too. End on a high note, right? All right, Julius, final thoughts as we wrap up here at the Pitt.
A good win. Anytime you win in your home building, it's a great win. It's good to see the young legend Curtis Aiken Jr. out on the floor.
Panthers getting a couple subs in off the bench. Jeff Capel, George Ivory with the handshakes and the victory for the Panthers. Pitt improves to 4-2. Pine Bluff drops to 0-5. 3 players in double figures for the Panthers, led by Justin Champagnie. Xavier Johnson gets on track, and Eric Hamilton having a big game as well. So for Julius Page, I'm Kevin Wheeler saying so long from Pittsburgh, where the final score is 66-41 Panthers. To watch this entire game on replay, as well as other games on the ACC network, download the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.